What's up, YouTube? Jonathan Pariente, the Education 10 here, coming at you guys with another video. I ask you guys to please check my channel, continue to subscribe for more YouTube videos. Well, 2004. 14 years ago, the Yankees and the Red Sox played a playoff game. Yankees led the series 3-0. Red Sox came back. Dave Roberts, who is now a manager for the Dodgers, but was then a pinch runner for the Boston Red Sox, stole second. Just barely, but still second. And that began and sparked the Red Sox to 8 straight wins in that postseason. They came back to beat the Yankees 4-3 in the ALCS and went on to sweep the Cardinals 4-0. That was the last time the Yanks and Red Sox faced each other in a playoff game. Until tonight. Yankees advanced in the wild card game 2 nights ago, defeating the Oakland A's in pretty much trouncing fashion, 7-2, to set up this division series matchup, best of 5, tonight at Fenway Park. J.A. Happ will go to the mound for the Yanks, as expected. Red Sox will counter with Chris Sale. Game 2, Yanks will go with Tanaka. Red Sox will counter with David Price. So this gets very interesting. In the Oakland series, the Yankees have to win that game. Period. They would never have been able to live that down if they lost. And as soon as Judge hit the home run in the first inning, even though there were some tight moments, but after Judge hit the home run in the first inning, you kind of felt the game was over. The Yanks were going to win that game. It didn't matter how Oakland responded. The Yankees were going to win the game. Severino showed you something in that game as well. He turned around a rough wild card game from a year ago, turned the page. And really in the playoffs now, Severino's not looked back from that since. He's actually been pretty good in the postseason, aside from that one game. So, good that turned around. Stanton homered for his first postseason game. It was a very welcoming sign to see. Luke Voit made an impact with the 2-run triple for his first postseason appearance. So, you love the positive things that you saw for some of these new Yankees. Still some worries with the corner infield. Andujar worries me at third base. But you have Hechavarria, so that's a good cover. And this is what the Yanks are probably going to be doing. Particularly in this Red Sox series, they're going to have to take that under serious note with Andujar at third. Obviously, you want his bat in the lineup. I completely get it. Andujar is a great hitter. But his defense is a liability. And that has to be addressed. Now, off-season, I'm sure things will improve. I'm sure in the off-season, Andujar will work on getting his defense and mechanics fixed. That is solvable. Fielding is a solvable problem. I can tell you a story about one particular player. Before he came up to the major leagues, he was in the minors. He made 21 errors in 58 games in the minors before he became a Yankee. You know what I'm talking about? Derek Jeter. Okay? Minor leagues, he made 21 errors in 58 games. Did you ever think he was going to make it to the major leagues with that? But he got better. He improved. And Andujar will do the same. Now, going into this series with Boston, particularly for Game 1, what can we expect to see? Well, J. Happ has been pretty much money since the Yankees acquired him in the trade deadline. Happ has yet to lose a start. He's 6-0 and has an ERA just a little bit below 3. Happ has owned the Red Sox this year. That's why the Yankees went with him in Game 1 instead of starting him in the wild card game. This is why they did it, and it worked. Boone had to make some ballsy moves in the wild card game for this matchup in the division series, and it worked. So now by putting Happ in Game 1, you at least have Happ if this series has to go to a Game 5. You at least have Happ pitching twice in this series, should it get that far. But Game 1 is going to be the start of this. We have to see, is J.A. Happ going to be J.A. Happ in Game 1? Are we going to see that tonight from him? And then the next question is Sale. Now, Sale recently came off the DL, has had a few starts since coming off, but he hasn't really gone deep into games. They kind of brought him back up slowly, having him pitch maybe less than 5 innings, kind of getting his pitch count up a little bit. But a recent start revealed a very glaring sign. Sale's fastball velocity was dramatically down. Down to the point where he was only averaging just about 91 miles an hour, which is not typical Chris Sale. I've seen Chris Sale. I know how good he is. 2.11 ERA, 12 wins this year. Could have easily had more if it not been for the DL stint. He basically has an overpowering fastball that he can blow hitters away with at 97, 98 miles an hour. Can hit 100 if he needs to. And he has a wipe-out slider. If I have to bear almost a really good comparison, he kind of reminds me of a younger version of Randy Johnson. That's precisely what Chris Sale is. He's the modern-day Randy Johnson for left-handed pitching with that fastball and slider. When he's on, he's unhittable. But if Sale shows any signs of not throwing that overpowering fastball, if his fastball velocity is down, and that slider's not biting like it usually does, this is a long series for Boston. And Boston could be in a lot of trouble. They have a lineup that can make up for bad pitching. That is true. They don't have a weak spot in that lineup. Yankees found that out the hard way throughout this season. Boston does not have weak spots in that lineup. So this series is going to be a perfect example of a grind. Every pitch is going to matter. Every at-bat's going to matter. Every situation with base runners is going to matter. And if you're the Yankees, how do you approach this? Red Sox pen has been very shaky in addition to that. The bridge getting to Kimbrel has been very rickety. So you have to wonder how deep the starters for Boston is going to go. If Sale can't do it, how deep is Price going to go? He has not done well against the Yanks. How deep is Rick Porcello going to go? He can be a little up and down. Red Sox have moved Eovaldi to the pen. Makes sense. The Red Sox also put Eduardo Rodriguez in the pen. That makes sense. So you have a couple long relievers down there. Yanks are going to do the same with Lance Lynn. So now it brings me this. Which starting pitcher is going to be the more consistent one in this series? That's going to be one thing to look at. Who's going to go deeper into a game and give you those big innings when you need them? Who's going to come up bigger in the series as far as the sluggers are concerned? Is J.D. Martinez going to have the same postseason that he had in the regular season? Is he going to be this impact hitter that he was all year, hitting 40-plus bombs and 130 RBIs? Is Mookie Betts going to be the glue that holds this team together with how he leads off, hitting over 330 this year? Is he going to do that in the postseason? The Red Sox have had a long layoff since the last game of the season against the Yanks. They've had a good almost week off. The Yankees' pen also is going to be an interesting challenge for this series too. A glaring sign that I saw was in the third to last game of the year. Red Sox didn't have anything to play for, but they still played their full lineup regardless. Yankees did end up winning the game 11-6, yes. But the ninth inning scared me. Britton couldn't throw strikes. He was walking batters left and right. His defense also partly didn't help him. But if the Yankee bullpen, particularly if Britton is not throwing strikes, if Betanzas is a little bit off, if Chapman is a little bit off, Boston will take advantage of that. So if you're the Yankees, and understand this very quickly, they already know this already. When you play Boston, particularly this team, no lead is safe. An 8-0 lead can evaporate in an instant. It almost did in the 159th game of the year. It almost quickly evaporated. 8-0, Yankees were up at 1 point. Happ gave up a grand slam, became an 8-4 game, just like that. Yankees then countered back, but then Boston scored 2 runs in the ninth, and then it became 11-6, and they had bases loaded with 1 out. The Red Sox, no matter how much they're trailing, no matter how much you may think you have them, you can't say you have them until 27 outs are recorded. Same for the Yanks. Both of these teams are very much mirror images of each other. They work counts. They foul pitches off. They're both very patient hitters. They'll pass the baton to the next hitter. So for the Yankees, this is going to be a very grueling 5-game best-of-5 series. And if you're the Yankees, they have to take at least a game at Fenway. Now, they got a little boost of that doing it toward the end of the year. They were able to finally, for the first time in roughly, I think, the beginning of the year, the Yanks won a game at Fenway and ended up taking a series at Fenway. Other than that, remember that 4-game series. The Yankees were swept in that, and in every physical way, they found a way to lose that game. None was more heartbreaking than the 4th game of that series, when Chapman imploded and blew the save when the Yanks had a 4-1 lead. So we're going to have to see how the Yankees will approach this series. If Chris Sale is off in the slightest, the Yankees have to jump on Sale. If they do that, they can take a game in Fenway, and it sets up the Yankees for a golden chance to knock off Boston when games 3 and 4 go back to the Bronx. So game 1 will tell me a lot of things about this division series and where it could be heading. Get ready for a showdown at Fenway. Get ready for a slam down in Beantown. Whoever wins this series will have every right to go to the championship series and possibly the World Series. Game 1 begins tonight. Yankees, Red Sox. Execution 10. Signing off.